Welcome back again. Glad to see that you're here and that you're ready to learn some more. I hope you enjoyed going through the 10 ways to reduce emotional pain in less than 15 minutes and that you've decided which ones of those you will utilize in your life on a regular basis so that you can overcome those feelings of pain when they rise again and you need to work through feeling grateful again and being able to move forward, because healing is like an onion. It comes in layers. We'll feel like we've worked through something only to have it rise up again, so that we have the opportunity to heal it at an even deeper level than we did before. So this module, we're going to talk about what I call discovering and expanding your true identity. Some of this information I'm going to give credit to Tony Robbins for, because he has this little sentence he said one time that does have value as far as having contributed to how I looked at this previously. So I want to make sure to give credit where credit's due. And that sentence was about how if your internal thermometer is set at 72 degrees and then you drop down to 62, you're like, your whole body freaks out and is like, hey, what are you doing down here? You're not supposed to be at a 62, you're 72, and it raises you up to 72. And then it's the upward side. Also, if you try to improve and you become a 92, your body's like, hey, what are you doing here? Your mind will try to say you're a 72, you need to get back down there. So that kind of gives you a preview of this conversation. But that is the contribution that Tony Robbins gave me through this process of healing and growth in my own life. And that's to realize our mind, our mindset. And I have been part of some incredible groups over the last several months, that mastermind groups that usually people have to pay multiple thousands of dollars to attend, but I've been blessed in many different ways to be able to be a part of them and to learn from billionaires, literally billionaires. And that's, not an opportunity that I thought that I would have in this lifetime, but I did. And I'm going to take some of those lessons that I learned and share them with you in this module, because it's really, really important. As you go to make changes in your life and to improve your life, you are going to run into yourself as your own worst enemy. You will have this conflict arise, and it's just part of the process. And the sooner you know that, then the sooner you'll be able to be prepared for it. And when it starts happening, you'll be able to confront this part of yourself. We have this inner negative voice that usually comes from negative things people were said to us in childhood. It also can be from things that we've said to ourselves over the years that are negative beliefs, that are false beliefs that we've had about ourselves. One of the people that I met in a recent event was Jenna Kuchar, and she calls it a mean girl voice. So I want to give her credit for that, because that's what I call it now, my mean girl voice, and how to shut her up. Basically, it is normal for us to have resistance from our own selves when we are making progress. An example I'm going to give you is that I am working with a health coach, a health and fitness coach, to be able to improve my health and fitness, to lose weight, to eat healthy, to finally break this pattern of behavior in my life. And my body has gotten used to being at a heavier weight. And repetitively, over and over again, I'd start making progress, move forward. I'd hit a certain weight, and as soon as I hit it, I would self-sabotage. All these things would come in. I'd get all sad and depressed and overwhelmed emotionally. I'd overthink it, as my coach would put it. Oh, now I'm going to have an itchy nose after having an itchy eye. All right. But anyways, and I would literally do something contrary. And what's interesting is that when I had this breakthrough, my coach had to point out to me that I actually had not self-sabotaged, that I just told myself I had, because I had a planned cheat meal, and every week we plan on me having one, that I do everything I'm supposed to all week long, and then I get to reward myself with this cheat meal. And I happen to choose the cheat meal as being like for my twins' birthday party. And so I went and I, had spaghetti and a salad and garlic bread and had a little bit of cake, which I was looking forward to having this cake, but it actually didn't taste good. It was too sweet. I was like, bleh, just gross. And so I ended up having an ice cream sandwich, if I'm honest. And I felt like I had totally failed because my coach had told me, go ahead and have some cake, but skip on the ice cream. Well, I didn't like the cake. I didn't eat the cake, so I decided to eat the ice cream bars. And initially, I did not tell my coach that I actually ate 4 of them. But then the next day I woke up feeling horrible and sick, and I was just like, ugh, and swollen, and got on the scale, and it was 5 pounds heavier than it was the day before. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. I can't believe I did this, right? Hello, mindset, right? And I was like looking up videos on self-sabotage. How am I going to deal with this? And I had my internet go out, and I was so frustrated. I was like, whatever, internet, you can't stop me from dealing with this problem, right? And I turned to my phone, and who already has sent me messages and is sitting there? My coach. And he's like, what's up, Charity? You haven't turned stuff in, what's going on? And so I told him, oh, I'm such a failure. I blah, blah, blah. I needed to, cleanse myself. So I didn't eat the breakfast I should this morning. I'm fasting. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a minute, Charity. You have followed your plan perfectly. You planned this cheat meal and you did it. And you did it. And it doesn't matter what you did because you planned it. You've done everything perfectly. You did not fail. You're overthinking this. It is literally your mind. And it was then that I recognized that once again I was confronting another limiting thought or belief or mindset. And what I learned from these billionaires is that the fear will always come for you. And the minds will always come for you too. In fact, I think it was, what was it? Pete Vargas that talked about this at one of the meetings that I went to. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but it doesn't matter. Pete Vargas. And basically he talked about how he'd experienced it too, how he had broken through, and here he was like making over $1 million. It was like $7 million for this client that he was serving, but now he's going to go out on his own to do it even more, and all this fear is coming up and all these limitations in his thoughts, and oh, I can't do this, and I'm going to fail, and da 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 da. But hello, the facts were right there. He's already succeeded. He's already done it for one person. Why couldn't he do it for another person? I mean, and that's how it is for us. We overthink things and our mind just takes over because our mind likes to keep us where we're comfortable. And so it's going to take more effort in your thinking than even taking the physical moves to actually move forward and progress, to move the needle, as Dean Graziosi would say. Because moving the needle is what really counts. It's what's really going to get you to your goal. So what was the moving the needle in my case? Well, it was to get right back on my plan, to stop starving myself, because there was no reason to punish myself, and punishing myself is a bad idea. It's not right anyway. And then also to recognize that, I nurture my body through food, and it's loving to give it the fuel that it needs, and that I need to make sure that I celebrate that I am doing great. I mean, literally, I'd only been in the plan for 2 weeks, and I already had lost close to 12 pounds and 10 inches. I mean, come on. That is progress. Hello, I should be celebrating, not like, oh my gosh, I totally did my cheat meal and blah, 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 oh my gosh, my mind. But, your mind will try to have you go to where you're comfortable. And I am getting close to that weight, that threshold that I had not broken through for many years. And so my mind is getting in the way, doing everything it can to make me scared of failure, to feel bad, to not take those steps forward. So the best thing to do is to take that step forward anyways, to accept that the fear is there, be like, hey, hello, fear, glad you're here. I am going this way anyway. And that's with anything, giving up any addiction, weight loss, any goal you have, growing your business, going out and meeting new people, applying for that job you always wanted, writing a book, whatever it is. Don't let the fear hold you back. Don't let it keep you where you are, because you are destined for greatness and it's already within you. The desire is there because that's what you're supposed to do. That's who you're supposed to become. And don't let this mind that's literally trying to protect you and save you using this, prehistoric brain, that in psychology, the amygdala, it creates that fear or fight or flight, freeze reaction. It literally is put in there to save us, to protect us. But the reality is, we don't want to stay comfortable when we're trying to be exceptional, when we're trying to be outstanding, when we're trying to be the best us. If we stay comfortable, then we're not going to go anywhere. So we want to keep moving forward to where, now we're 92 degrees. And you're going to find that as you do this, that you are capable of way more than you thought, that you can accomplish way more than even you believed in. And it's amazing. I'm just going to tell you, it's an amazing experience to be able to push through those things, to get over your fear. And one of the ways that I trained myself to be able to take this action, even if I'm scared, comes from Wim Hof, which, if you're not familiar with him, he's also known as the Iceman. I will include some links below to some information about him and a medical study that was done on him where he literally used his own techniques to be able to stop, I believe it was a bacteria, either a virus or bacteria, from invading his body, through these techniques that he's done with his breathing and exposure to cold, that he was able to activate the sympathetic nervous system and actually control his immune system. Now, I'm not claiming that I am that far, but I will tell you that I have used the breathing and the cold water technique every day that I go in the shower, and whenever I jump in my pool, I just jump right in, because I am training myself to take uncomfortable action without hesitation, to move forward even if I'm uncomfortable. So the way that this works for me is, say I'm going to go out for my swim. Not every morning I do an hour swim, but on the mornings that I do, that I'm ready and I just dive right into the cold water and just go to it. And then when I take my shower, I'll do my normal warm shower and wash my hair and all those things, get all that girl stuff taken care of, I need taken care of. But then right when I say now, I will flip it to ice cold. And it's been amazing because I've done this for, several months now. And there have been some days where I literally don't feel the cold at all. And guess what I just discovered? This has a pause button. So that was good, because that coughing was getting crazy. I'll have to remember that in the future when I have an itchy eye or something. Anyways, I literally would have days where I didn't even feel cold at all. I was completely shocked. I'm like, is it really on ice cold? And I would check, and I didn't feel it at all. And there'd be times where I literally just felt like the sensation of the water was just so amazing and so awesome. And with one of my clients, I was even joking around and telling her, I read somewhere that, real cold water can help, kill fat cells and stuff. So I was like putting my stomach, the parts of it I want to thin down, under the ice water, going, yeah, get those fat cells melted away and killed and whatever. She's like, oh, I should try that. I never thought about that. But anyway, I have a lot of fun in some of my coaching sessions. But yeah, so it is a great technique to help you learn to take uncomfortable action, to do things that might be a little bit scary, because then once you can do that, then it's really easy to take those steps. Like, say you always wanted to start a business, but you're afraid to, or you always want to write a book, but you hesitate that it'll be a failure. All that stuff doesn't matter. You just take the action, and it doesn't have to be perfect action. As you can see, I've coughed, I've scratched my eye. I haven't tried to make this be perfect, and that's on purpose. I want you to see me be a human being, a real human being, not this perfect put together package all the time. That's why on my Facebook, people will see pictures of right after I just worked out, or right after I just got out of the pool, or whatever, because I want them to see like the reality of my life and who I am, right? Don't want to be fake. You know, enough fake exists in this world, enough illusion. Don't need that. Need authenticity and people who are going to be real, you know. So I'm one of those. But yeah, take uncomfortable action so that you can raise your thermostat, and you can keep raising it and keep growing and progressing and becoming more than you ever thought you could. You know, one of the things I'm going to share with you is that every once in a while I used to create like these music videos where I would sing and put it on YouTube. But that was like one of the few times anyone would ever see me in front of a camera. There were times in my life where I was in front of a camera when I was a grassroots activist, or when I was singing the national anthem, or when I was one of Ozark's top 40 idols, when that was a thing, when I lived in Missouri. But most of the time, you wouldn't find me in front of a camera. And in the last several years, if I went live, you were only going to see what I was looking at. You're going to see a building, Christmas lights, other people. I was going to talk about music. You weren't going to see my face. I wasn't going to be the one in front of the camera, and so on. But I got used to taking uncomfortable action. I went through several different events like the Comeback Challenge and Unleash the Power Within, and different Tony Robbins events. The Comeback Challenge was free, and you know, I just kept investing in myself and putting myself out there, taking uncomfortable action. Like Build Your Brand was another course I went through that forces you to get out of your comfort zone. And I was willing to go all in. I was ready to put in the work. I was willing to do it. And I'm not kidding. Within a matter of like 6 weeks, I went from being camera shy, hiding behind the camera, to who you see now. And it only gets better the more I do it and the more that I share. And it just, you know, feels like I'm really talking to you, that you're really right here and we're just having a conversation. And this course only exists in this format for you because I took uncomfortable action, because I was willing to make mistakes, because I was willing to do it imperfectly. I was willing to show up. And I encourage you to do the same, because you never know what life you're going to touch. You never know what opportunities are going to come to you, and the growth that comes just from doing those things that are not completely comfortable. You just really can't put a price tag on it, because it's you. It's your personal growth. It's your personal development. So down below, I'm going to include some information for you in the, I guess it's the subject section, the content section, where you can learn more about Wim Hof and some of the things I've talked about. And I'll include some other tools that I didn't mention in this video to help you on your journey as well. But for now, I'll see you later, and see you in the next module.